Welcome to the Critical Thinking Literacy Channel's Attack on Reason series. I'm John Balla. In this video, we examine the ad populum fallacy. At some point in your life, you've probably heard someone justify a belief by saying something like, "Well, everybody knows that," or, "Come on, millions of people can't all be wrong." That feeling, that sheer numbers equal truth, is one of the oldest reasoning errors in history. Logicians call it the argumentum ad populum, the appeal to popularity, the bandwagon fallacy, and today, we're going to show you how wrong it can be. Let's travel through history, because the graveyard of majority beliefs that turned out to be completely false is a long one. For most of human prehistory, the overwhelming majority of people believed the Earth was flat. The reasoning was intuitive. It looked flat. What makes this example so instructive is that the minority was right for centuries. Ancient Greek thinkers like Pythagoras and Aristotle had already reasoned from physical evidence. They noted the circular shadow Earth casts on the moon during lunar eclipses, and the way ships disappear hull first over the horizon. In 240 BCE, Eratosthenes didn't just conclude the Earth was round. He calculated its circumference with remarkable accuracy using simple shadow angles. The majority believed one thing. The evidence pointed to another. The majority was wrong. For roughly 1,400 years, from Ptolemy in the 2nd century through the early 17th century, the geocentric model was the dominant view. The Earth sat at the center. It was endorsed by the Church, taught in every major university, and accepted by virtually everyone. When Copernicus proposed a heliocentric model, the response was not curiosity. When Galileo provided evidence, he was forced to recant under threat of torture. The majority, institutional, popular, and theological, was united, and the majority was wrong. Here's one that should make your skin crawl. Bloodletting was standard medical practice from ancient Greece through the early 19th century. It was endorsed by Hippocrates, by Galen, by nearly every major medical authority in Western history. The majority of physicians believed in it completely. George Washington likely died in 1799, not from infection, but from aggressive bloodletting. His physicians removed over 5 pints of blood in one day. It wasn't until Pierre Louis applied statistical methods to patient outcomes that the practice was demonstrated to be harmful rather than helpful. The medical majority had been wrong, catastrophically, lethally wrong, for 2,000 years. In the 20th century, the tobacco industry weaponized the ad populum fallacy. Millions smoke, millions seem fine, so smoking must be safe. Tobacco companies ran slogans citing thousands of physicians, not clinical data, not peer-reviewed studies, just, "Here are a lot of people who agree with us." The 1964 Surgeon General's report finally drew the link between smoking and lung cancer, findings the industry had privately known for years. Popularity had been dressed up as safety. The price was measured in millions of lives. Now let's bring this into living memory. Before the 2003 invasion of Iraq, a large majority of Americans believed Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction. The coverage reinforced the majority view. One study found that 80% of major network news coverage favored the administration's pro-war position. And the conclusion of the Iraq survey group was unambiguous. There were no weapons of mass destruction. The majority was wrong. Archon Fung of Harvard's Ash Center has argued that this big lie, amplified by popular consensus, damaged American democracy for decades. The lesson is simple. Truth is not a democracy. Evidence doesn't care about numbers. Just because everyone believes it doesn't make it true. Here's the bottom line. Every example we looked at today, the flat Earth, geocentrism, bloodletting, tobacco, and Iraq, shares the same structure. A majority believed something. The majority was wrong. And the people courageous enough to follow the evidence instead of the crowd were mocked, marginalized, and sometimes prosecuted. We like to think we're too sophisticated for that now. We have the internet, we have science, we have journalism, and yet we have built an entire political system around measuring popular opinion and handing power to the people most willing to chase it. We have institutionalized the ad populum fallacy at the highest levels of democratic governance. That should concern all of us. If this series is doing its job, you're walking away today a little harder to fool, a little quicker to ask why before you ask how many. If that's true, do me a favor. Like this video, share it with someone who could use these tools, and subscribe to the channel so you're here for every new installment of Attack on Reason. Critical thinking isn't a hobby, it's a survival skill. Let's build it together. I'm John Bala. Until next time, thanks for watching the Critical Thinking Literacy channel. Think critically, choose wisely,